What is going on, guys? Dave from Wake Up It's Football alongside of Ezra from Idiot Sports Talk, bringing you guys the Week 2 edition of the 2014 NFL season for the Red Zone Blitz. Before we get into the Red Zone Blitz Bowl between my Packers and Ezra's Jets, before we get to the power rankings, before we get to injuries and all that good stuff, Ezra, how's it going?
Okay. It's going okay right now. I know you was tearing, man, just a little bit at a halftime. I know you was feeling it. I didn't get no tweets from you. I didn't hear from you at all. And in the second half, you didn't hear from me in this. But I'm all right. I'm breathing and walking. What am I saying, man? Come on. We showed some fight today. That's all I'm going to say. We showed the world a little something because I don't think a lot of people believed we even had a chance versus your Packers.
No, I don't think so. And I was really surprised to see the Jets go up. What was it, 21? Was it 21-0 or 21-3 or whatever it was?
21-3, and it was like a dominant 21-3.
Yeah, but there's a but in there.
But hey, like I tweeted at the first half of that game, we was rocking, we was feeling good. I said, but you know what? I know it's a long game, and I know the Packers still have Rodgers, and I already knew it. It's not like I didn't tweet you say, hey, we got this game won or anything like that because I know my Jets. I know our history. And it's sad to relive itself. But before we get into the game, let's get into the power rankings for the FanDuel box.
The power rankings, baby. There's been a lot of shakeups from Week 0. I called it Week 0 because that was the episode before Week 1. And I knew there was going to be a lot of change-ups because some guys came back, some guys didn't. So taking a look at 6 through 10 right there, I don't know if you guys can see that now. The Red Zone Blitz FanDuel power rankings, fan power rankings. Mansamish slipped from number 1 last week all the way down to 10 because he was not with us last week. So, I didn't want to knock him completely out of the top 10. So he's 10th right now. Starkey Sharky's at 9. Redskins HTTR moves up 2 spots. He was in 10th last week. Black Mamba makes a list at 7, and Cubone Football moves up 1 spot to 6th. Now 1 through 5, you got your Bird Gang 559 who showed up huge last week. That's 6 spots because he was not on the list. 18 Lockhart in 4th. New 18 Lockhart will crack that list. Top 5 right now. Leroy Boss at 3 won the MVP last week along with Papa Shogun. And then Tomahawk, even though he has not won MVP the last 2 weeks, he has shown up huge. So last week he was 4th. He's been bumped up 3 spots. He is number 1. Here's our guy right now on top of the list for the FanDuel Power Rankings. So that is the Power Rankings right now, fellas.
The only thing I have a question with that Power Rankings, I think Cubone Football needs to be up there in the top 5. I think, last 2 weeks, you put a little effort. I know Bird Gang and Papa Shotgun, Shogun, it's Shogun, not Shotgun. he won MVP, but Cubone has been very consistent, and that's why Tomahawk's number 1, because I think he came in 2nd or 3rd place in our MVP, and that's why he's number 1 right now. Very consistent.
So those again are the power rankings. Now, I think I got my Packers blanket here, baby, because we're about to get in to the Red Zone Blitz Bowl from today. All right. Now, I tweeted out this little tweet to Ezra maybe 5 seconds before the first play of this game happened. And I said, Ezra, I'm ready to watch the Packers slap your Jets or something along those lines. And 5 seconds later, you have Corey Linsley, our center, fumble the snap or whatever happened. Aaron Rodgers can't grab it, and your Jets, they scoop the fumble up deep in Packers territory to score the first touchdown of the game. And they went up 14-0 early on, so I was worried a little bit. Your Jets front 7, because you guys run a 3-4. They're scary, man. Muhammad Wilkerson, Quentin Coples, Sheldon Richardson. Who's the linebacker? Davis.
Marco Davis.
I can never remember his name.
I always forget his first name, but it's Davis. There's Harris and Davis. Those are the two that I look at.
Harris. Point is this. You guys are stacked in the front seven. Stingy against Eddie Lacy the whole game. I don't think he surpassed 50 yards. I think Aaron Rodgers might have been the leading rusher on the team. I'm not sure. Stingy the whole game. But later on, that's when Aaron Rodgers turned on the boosters in the air. Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, those guys. But early on, man, the Jets, they were playing good football. First quarter and a half. And then I don't know what happened, Ezra.
They remember they were the Jets, and Geno Smith was the quarterback. No, I think in the second half, I think we went away from the ground and pound. I think we should have ran the ball more in the second half. But I think the Packers just deserve more credit because it seemed like your offensive line made adjustments, got more physical, and just met the Jets' D-line at the line of scrimmage. Because in the first half, we was just controlling the line of scrimmage. We were absolutely destroying your offensive line, getting to Aaron Rodgers, getting huge pressure on him, and that's why he couldn't do anything in the first half. And I just think the Packers made a lot of adjustments. To me, the MVP, clearly, I was tweeting it throughout the game, even in the first half, Jordy Nelson was absolute monster. He's not a very fast guy, but no one can keep up with him because his crisp route running. I even tweeted at one point, this guy doesn't get enough love throughout the league. He is a top 10 wide receiver, Jordy Nelson, and today he proved to me even more that he is in that position. It's just the Jets could not. Today, it was the glorying. Remember, all throughout offseason, we're talking about my Jets secondary, the corners. Today, I tweeted, where's Revis? We should have spent some money in the cornerback position because a guy like Jordy Nelson came up alive and absolutely destroyed us. But like I said, it was the adjustments with the offensive line to give Aaron Rodgers time, and their defense stepped up in the second half. Even though I thought my team helped you guys out in the second half, your defense definitely stepped it up.
There was a couple of times where the Packers actually, for once, got pressure on the quarterback. That's been missing for 2 seasons now. Finding pressure, getting guys who can actually penetrate through the offensive line and get pressure on quarterbacks, it's almost non-existent in Green Bay. And one of those plays where it actually happened, I can't remember, it might have been Mike Daniels. He gets pressure on Geno Smith. Geno Smith tosses the ball up. I think it was Tramon Williams with the interception. Things like that, it shows how crucial it is to have elite pass rushers or guys who can have an impact when it comes to pass rushing. When you don't have that, turnovers can't really necessarily be forced. So I think the Packers, did step up defensively a little bit more in the second half. But one other thing is, what did you think about the whole debacle with the timeout call and Geno Smith throws a touchdown pass to Jeremy Curley, and that had to be called back even though Rex Ryan didn't call the timeout?
Someone called a timeout. I saw a video evidence that there was a couple guys calling timeout, or I saw some hand gestures. Go ahead.
No, yeah, there were definitely hand gestures, but I think the rule is only the head coach can call a timeout on the bench. Or am I wrong on that? Because Rex Ryan did not call a timeout. It was the offensive coordinator who called the timeout.
Whoever it was, I'm not going to blame the officials here. Okay, if the rule is only a head coach, I'm still not going to blame, because it's a reactional thing. The play's about to happen, so an official sees someone calling timeout, especially from the coaching staff, they're going to react to it. So it's a reactional thing, because if I'm an official, I'm going to call a timeout. I blame the Jets for that debacle. It's not the officials' fault. I'm not going to be one of those guys. It was the Jets for letting it happen. And just like, Jets karma, you see the touchdown and nothing happens. We deserve all the blame deserves to be us. That's it.
Well, I'm just happy my Packers got a win.
Was you nervous in that first half? We was looking so good. I couldn't believe it. I at one point I was like, is this really the New York Jets? Is this really the New York Jets? That front line, the offense was clicking. Eric Decker with that big touchdown. And the secondary was doing a solid job. Oh, man, but Cobb, he was a beast in that in the goal line situations today. Didn't he have 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh man, just it was a great game. Well, for being a fan, it was a great game for a Jets fan in the first half. Second half, it was a game for Packers fans. I just feel like we just have to put it all together. Both of us. The Packers need to put it together consistently all 4 quarters, like my Jets do. You got to play consistent football if you want to win these games.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I guess the Packers or Dave wins the Red Zone Blitz Bowl. Is that how it goes?
Excuse me? If what? The Packers what?
Do I win the Red Zone Blitz Bowl, or the Packers win the Red Zone Blitz Bowl?
No, you win the. It's your team. You guys win the Red Zone Blitz Bowl. I guess we'll have to just see you guys in the Super Bowl. Make it there. And we'll get our revenge. That's it.
Yeah, we'll see about all that.
Just letting you know, little fun fact, the Jets have never lost in the Super Bowl. Fun fact. If you guys didn't know that. 100% winning percentage.
What's the other fun fact? When was the last time they made a Super Bowl?
1969.
Okay.
But
that's a very
we didn't lose.
That's a very
when
fun
we were there,
fact.
we didn't lose. We gave them the business.
Who's we? You weren't even born.
That's not the point. Okay, I could get some I get ESPN Classic. I could buy some DVDs. I can watch those interviews with Broadway Joe with his fur coat before he tried to sexually assault women on camera. So yeah, man.
All right. I think it's time to move on from the Packers and the Jets. Move on to more of the some of the matchups that were early on. Didn't get to catch the Buffalo-Miami game. This was one that happened early on. The game was played in Buffalo. The Bills defeated the Dolphins 29-10. The Bills are now 2-0 in the AFC East. Okay, and a lot of things didn't go very, very well for the Dolphins. I think Noshawn Moreno went out very, very early in the first quarter with an elbow injury. I think a couple of other guys were banged out. I can't remember who went out, but the Bills had a huge game, and this was a statement game. This was a division rival. This was for the Bills to go 2-0 because the Bills aren't usually a very successful team, and they were able to come out on top. Even though the Dolphins, I think, had more time possession, outplayed them a little bit more, had more first downs, things like that, the Bills came to play. So I'm just kind of looking at...
Should we start looking at the Bills as a legitimate potential playoff team now? No, are we not there yet?
No.
You're not there yet, David.
Not there yet. This is the classic case. The last 2 or 3 years I said it.
They're in the first place. Just want to give everybody a little shout out right now. The Buffalo Bills are in first place, and side note, they got themselves a new owner that's going to keep the team in Buffalo, and I'm happy for that. I'm happy for Buffalo Bills fans, so that's cool.
No, I was just going to say, like, every season there's going to be that team. Every season there's going to be that team that starts out 4 or 5-0, and everyone jumps on the bandwagon. They finish 7-9. So it's way too early to be talking about playoffs when a team starts 2-0. Way too early. I mean, last year I think the Texans started out 2-0, and they finished 2-14. Too early. Too early for the Bills to be talking playoffs right now.
Okay, I hear you. But you brought up injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Today has been a terrible day in the NFL for injuries. The big name everybody's going to talk about all week, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes, RG3. All right, who else was hurt today? There's defensive tackle for the Buccaneers, McCoy.
Gerald? No.
Yes, Gerald. He broke his hand.
Okay.
We had so many injuries today. If you guys can help me on the comment box, if your team or your game that you were watching, if there was any injuries, please let us know. Wasn't there a game right now with the 49ers and Bears?
Yeah. AJ Green went out with a toe injury. Noshawn Moreno went out with a elbow injury. Who else went out? Deshaun Jackson went out. RG3 went out with a dislocated ankle. Yeah, there was a lot of injuries today that were huge. But, I mean, if you want to hit on this Washington game really quickly here, this prediction that you had so long ago about Kirk actually becoming the starter in Washington could come to fruition just because A, he's been able to actually prove himself out on the field, and B, RG3 can't stay healthy to save his life. He can't do it. I don't care if you drafted him first overall, second overall, wherever overall. If Kirk is actually out there winning you football games, why don't you have him out there winning you football games over RG3? I think there's going to be a serious quarterback controversy in Washington if RG3 comes back whenever he comes back this year. If Kirk is actually sitting there helping his team win, I don't see why you would bring RG3 back in. As crazy as that sounds.
Doesn't sound crazy to me, but this is the opportunity that Kirk Cousins must seize. If I just read, just heard after the 49ers Bears game, excuse me, the guy from Pro Football Talk said they expect RG3 to be out only for 4 to 5 games. That's going to be a nice little sample size. Let's say Kirk Cousins goes 3-2, 4-1. Let's just say that happens. Like you said, there's going to be a huge argument on his side, maybe enough evidence for the coaching staff, the ownership to say, we got to make the switch. This guy's winning. He's proven himself, etc., etc. This is his opportunity to shine and take this job from RG3 forever and ever. Because if he struggles a little bit, they're going to go right back to RG3. Maybe the guy just needs a change, man. I don't know if this offense fits him. I don't know if the offense just doesn't fit him. Like I said, they don't let him be himself. He's got to go to a team. And it's funny, I say that. While he was being himself, he was rolling out to the right, and that's when he dislocated his own ankle. Very Derrick Rose of him.
I've said this 100 times already. Because you always defend the whole notion of drafting RG3 to be RG3, which means drafting RG3 to be both a threat in the pass game and a threat in the run game. But I disagree with that. When you draft a guy second overall, you really want him to be more of that pocket passer, the guy who has that pocket presence, who doesn't roll out, who stays disciplined, because as soon as you roll out, you start running, the probability of you getting injured increases. There's no doubt about it. I mean, honestly, you're gonna either take a hit or whatever. Today he didn't take a hit. If you want to go against my argument, today he didn't take a hit.
That turf came up and grabbed his ankle.
It was self-inflicted, but the point is he was still running. I didn't see the play. Maybe he had to roll out. I'm starting Cousins. I'm starting Kirk Cousins. And if he wins us 3 games, 4 games, 5 games in the span that RG3 is out, if he's out for 6 games and Kirk wins 4 or 5, I'm keeping Kirk in. What are you going to put RG3 in for, so he can get hurt again?
I asked this on my Facebook. I'm going to ask this for the FanDuel comment box. Is the RG3 era over in Washington? Plain and simple. Is it over? Do you think Kirk Cousins will take this job and run with it? You think he's going to be you think the coaching staff will look forward to the future with Kirk Cousins? I just want you guys' predictions on this, this matter, because there's going to be chatter all week about this.
Throw that down in the FanDuel comment box if you want to hear his stat line today, Kirk Cousins. I think he completed his first 9 or 10 passes when he came in.
They won 41-10, that's for sure. He
was 22 of 33, 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, QBR of 93.7.
And again, this came against the Jaguars, and it's not like they game planned for Kirk Cousins in the first place. And I just want to read off some comments in the FanDuel comment box. Look at some more injuries that we were talking about. Jamal Charles, another huge injury. That's from Tomahawk. Charles Tillman, The Miz, 34i.
What happened to Jamal Charles?
No, oh, Jamal Charles, I'm not sure. I think it was a knee issue or something. He was out early in that game, and when I heard that, I was like, oh. When I had the first pick in my personal league, I went with LaShawn McCoy over my boy Jamal Charles, and right now, the first 2 weeks of the year, he's been hurt. And once he got hurt, the Chiefs were asked to Alex Smith was asked to try to win the game, and you know how that turned out. Even with Jamal Charles, it's not like a lot of people had the Chiefs beating the Broncos in the first place, but we know how pathetic that offense could be when Alex Smith is leading the way. I keep stressing that all year round.
Alex Smith. Hey, they kept that game close against the Broncos. They kept that game close without Jamal.
It's true. They kept it close. I wonder why they couldn't win.
I'm looking at the FanDuel comment box right now.
J.J. Watt had more touchdowns than Alex Smith today. Okay?
That's fine. That's fine. You
right?
know? Quentin Gray says, I don't see both Cousins and RG3 both on the 2015 roster. One of them is going to be traded next season. And to be quite honest with you, Quentin, if any 31 other teams that was looking for a quarterback was smart, they would have offered the Redskins a second round, not a first. A first is too high. A second round pick. If I was a GM, I would give up a second round pick for Kirk Cousins before this season started. If I was the Rams, if I was the Jaguars, but I know you drafted Bortles. If I was a quarterback needy team, the most I would give up for him in draft picks is a second round pick, because that's how much faith I have in Kirk. And I have a feeling that he's going to emerge as one of those guys who's one of those sleepers who can help teams reach the playoffs. So,
Tomahawk writes, I don't think there's any way RG3 doesn't step right back in as the starter. The Skins have invested way too much in him, and their future is tied with him. Cousins is nice, but the ceiling is nowhere near RG3's.
Yeah, but the thing is with the ceiling, the ceiling could be all the way up here. That's fine. But he can't reach that ceiling because every time he even gets on the field, he's off the field with an injury. How is he ever going to reach the ceiling?
How long do you wait for a ceiling? Huh? How long do you wait for that ladder? How long do you wait for a player to climb that ladder to reach the ceiling? This is year 3, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the 3rd year now.
This is the 3rd year. No, is it? It's 3rd year or 4th year?
No, it's 3. It's 3.
How long do you wait?
You can. People say all the time the NFL is a win now league. If you're playing in a win now league, you can't sit here and just pray and keep praying. Please let RG3 be healthy for You can't do that.
I understand what Tomahawk is saying, and I still believe no matter how well, unless he's lights out, Kirk Cousins, when RG3 is healthy, they'll put him back in as the starter. But if RG3 from that point starts struggling or they start losing, whatever the opposite of the Cousins team happens, I think, that's when the doubt of the management starts creeping in. That's all I'm saying. If they start rolling and RG3 seems like he's putting the brakes on it, you gotta think twice. When the Patriots had Drew Bledsoe and they gave him a $100 million deal, and they let this 6th-round pick come in, he wasn't lighting it up, Tom Brady. They were winning with him. They stuck by him even when Drew Bledsoe was healthy. No matter how much they had invested in Drew Bledsoe.
Sharky says, I think Cousins is to the Redskins in 2014 as McCown was to the Bears in 2013, which means that Cousins is going to be on a different team next year. But we never know. I mean, how crazy would it be? We're on the Red Zone Blitz right now, Ezra. We can discuss anything we want football related. So let's throw this crazy scenario out there. because I think seriously people are going to start talking about this more and more. How crazy would it be if RG3 gets traded next year?
If you're asking me, how crazy would that be? I wouldn't think it would be that crazy.
I think you'd be in a minority. I think it
Yes,
would be
I
a
believe
little.
so too.
I think it would be a little crazy, and I would really love to see what teams would give up for RG3, knowing his injury history, but also knowing his potential. Who would be crazy enough to do it, and would the Redskins be crazy enough to do it? You know, could they find a partner? Because I think that would be one of those trades that no one would really see coming, but could still be a possibility with what Kirk Cousins could bring to the table as well. We've seen scenarios like this happen, you know. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. It just would be really interesting to see a former, you know, second overall pick get the boot, you know, so to speak. So
Get the boot.
do you have the boot sitting next to you?
Well, who's gonna get the boot?
Well, we'll see. But I'm just making sure. Oh, before I forget, everyone that's watching right now, there's been breaking news.
Eric Berry also got hurt. Man, it's a tough day.
Breaking news for the Red Zone Blitz. Marvin McNutt is on the Redskins practice squad.
Oh, no wonder they won today. Oh man, the connection. No wonder the blowout win. They had 10 sacks. Got to give that stat to Redskins in their FanDuel combo box. But it makes sense.
Did they really have 10 sacks?
10 sacks is crazy. That's what he said. 10 sacks.
Yeah. Look at that. Chad Henne got sacked 10 times.
Man.
Wow.
David Carr's like, whoa. Ooh, I remember those days. I remember those days.
All right, Tom Alex says he's got a serious question. Serious question. Why do you guys think so highly of Cousins? I've seen him play a few times now, and he strikes me as, at best, an average NFL QB. He had a good game today, but the Jags stink on defense, and they prepared for RG3 this week. Ezra, take it. I have to sneeze.
I am not that high on Kirk Cousins. I also believe, he could be an average to above average, QB. Maybe like a Matt Castle when he was with the Patriots. But that's not the question here. My thing is, people need to start opening their eyes. RG3 has been average when he has been healthy, or below average. He had his best seasons was rookie year when he had 16 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, and he was a nice little game manager. But people believe in that hype and want to believe in RG3. Yes, he has potential. But has he really shown it besides his rookie year? Has he shown it last year? This year? There hasn't been consistency. I haven't seen growth from him, from me personally, to be such a supporter of RG3. And I just not a big fan of his attitude. I felt like I've talked about this last week among friends. RG3, since he's been in the league, it seems like he's been trying to build himself a brand instead of building himself as a football player. He's always working. I feel like he's a diva. I really do believe RG3 is a diva. I just don't like his attitude. He says all the right things all the times and all this good stuff. Work on your football. Please. I want to see the effort you put on these commercials as much as you put on the practice field and show it to me. I'm not putting all this blame on him because they keep changing coaching staff on him and Mike Shanahan put him in while he was injured. It's just been a lot of bad karma with RG3 and the Redskins for some reason since past his rookie year. That's all.
I just have to stop defending, no matter how good a guy is. You can't sit here and keep backing him up and saying, oh, he's good. He might be good and he might have the talent, but if he can't stay healthy, which means he can't stay on the field, which means he can't produce for you, which means he can't win you football games, what is the point of having him on your team? Tearing his ACLs and MCLs and QRZs and all these ABCs, and now he dislocates his ankle, If you can't stay on the field, there's almost as if, there's no point of even having you because you're useless. Your potential cannot be reached and it cannot be used because you cannot be out there because you're always hurt. That's why I support Kirk Cousins, because he's shown some sort of promise. Now, here's the thing. I know Tomahawk said, I've seen him play a couple of games and he might be average at best and whatever. We haven't seen Kirk Cousins play a full season. We haven't seen him, try and progress as a NFL quarterback, because the only time he ever gets to play is whenever RG3 is not on the field. So it's spotty. It's every here and there, every once in a while. But if you gave him a full season to progress, get all those reps in against actual live defenses, we might be talking about a different story. We don't know. But I've seen some potential is what I'm saying. So both quarterbacks might have potential, but we know one of them can't stay on the field. And that's where the concern is, and that's where the controversy is, in my opinion.
So we're moving on from RG3.
Yes, we are.
Let's move on. Should we talk about... what else should we talk about?
I caught the... I watched a lot of the Lions and Panthers game, if we want to hit on that. I don't know. Did you catch any games you want to throw out there so we can talk about those?
I didn't catch the Lions and Panthers, but I will say one thing. I need to respect the Carolina Panthers a little bit more than I do. I love their defense. I was just very, you got rid of Marvin McNutt, Your offense, you still got the same running backs that hasn't done much the last couple years. I just was very suspect about their offense. But I'm always a fan of Cam Newton. I think he's progressed nicely last year, and he stepped up. But they won last week with their backup, and this week, who I think, the Lions got a very good offense. They got the talent. They only scored 7 points. The Panthers deserve more respect from me, and I would like to apologize to Carolina Panthers fans and this organization for me not even thinking highly of them going into this year. But this team needs to be respected, and they're legit, okay? And the Lions, I've always said Matthew Stafford's overrated. I mean, come on, man. Matthew Stafford, 48 attempts, 291 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Come on. You're talking about a guy that needs to grow. Man, he needs a little bit more critics on his side. I guess nobody cares about the Lions, so no one's going to talk about Matthew Stafford, but I guess I have to be that guy. Okay? He needs to grow up as a leader. You're talking about, everybody talks about these choke artists in, Romo or whoever quarterback you want to talk about. No one ever brings up Matthew Stafford. This dude is probably the biggest choke artist in the NFL. This guy's got to grow up as a player, big time.
Well, early on, the Lions had a couple of opportunities that they literally fumbled away when they were rallying down into Panthers territory. Now, I was surprised to see how heavily defensive this game was. I think later in the game, even in the second half, I think it was still 7-6, and then the Panthers kind of started to turn it on. And I think that the final score was 24-7. The Panthers' defense is no joke. I mean, they have some. I think the weakest point is their secondary, but their front seven, some of their newer guys that they've drafted, the younger guys like Luke Kuechly, Kawan Short, Star Lotulelei, those guys have stepped up huge. Individual plays that kind of, that kind of come together as a team effort. It's huge, and that defense I think is going to be another top 10 defense this year with some of the guys that they have. They have some veterans there. I think Roman Harper's in the secondary at safety. A couple other players. So they have some veterans, they have some young, talented guys. I think it's a nice mix. And the thing that is concerning is the offense. Early on, they struggled. They could not do anything. They could not move the ball. The receiving core is their weakest point on their team. I know they just drafted Kelvin Benjamin, but he's still a rookie. He's still fresh. He's still young. And some of the other guys they have, like a Jericho Cotry, Jason Avant, these are some older names, some guys who, you don't want to say washed up, but they're just third, fourth stringers on any other team. I think going forward they're going to address this position in the draft, probably in 2015 and 2016. But Cam Newton has to get it done. I think this is a run-heavy, run-first type of team offensively, and Cam Newton really needs to get this team going. So it's nice to know that the Panthers can stay in games because of their defense, and that's what really happened today. And they were able to turn the Jets on in the second half, and they were able to beat the Lions. And that was another thing, like you just mentioned, Matthew Stafford being overrated. Kind of surprising the Lions struggled offensively, but you got to give credit to the Panthers' defense there.
Another game that I want to talk about. Oh, they're talking about your boy Calvin Benjamin's catch, though. His catch is some. You gonna start saying this man can catch? Huh, David?
What's that?
You didn't see that catch? These guys are fighting in the FanDuel comment box.
Look, okay. When you evaluate the tape, all right, when you sit down, you watch the tape, the college tape, that's what you have to go off of.
He's got new tape right now.
That's 2 games. It's 2 games, man.
I'm just saying he's got new tape.
All I know is this. He in college, he'll run a slant, he'll put his hands up, he'll hit him in the hands, and it'll fall straight to the ground. And that's what I saw. That's how I graded him. So, hey, if he can catch it behind his back doing a 360, eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, that's fine. Good for him.
Yeah, Quentin Gray, we are about to talk about that the Browns and Saints game, crazy game. But I'm going to answer Bird Gang's question first. I don't know if you can see it. He wants to know what jersey I'm wearing. It's a custom-made jersey. 13. In the back it says Ezra IST. So that answers your question. It's a custom jersey. Number 13, nice. My favorite number. I think Kurt Warner's number 13 also, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that too well. Flexing. I felt like the world's strongest man, a bodybuilder, when I did that right there. Almost pulled a couple muscles myself. But the Brian Hoyer era, this guy's, think about it, he's 4-2 in the last 6 games started with the Browns. And today, he leads this team to a comeback victory versus the Saints. And, the Browns get credit for keeping Drew Brees under control. And I thought this team would have, too much speed for the Browns. And just the Browns stepped it up. And Aiden, Colston had, 0 targets today, I believe? So, the Browns deserve... That's 2 straight weeks. Last week they came back on the Steelers, almost pulled that out, and this week they come back. They're showing a lot of fight, a lot of grit. They're building some character over there in Cleveland. And I think if you're a Cleveland fan, you should be very happy with your team's 2 weeks' performance. And every time this team wins and Hoyer brings this team back, he doesn't have to turn his head as much to look at Johnny Football. Am I right? I haven't heard too many Johnny Football.
Yeah, you want to know? You want to know how? You want to know how Brian Hoyer's doing good in Cleveland? You want to know how? When Johnny Football is not on ESPN. That's how you know.
That's right. I don't see the tweets. I don't see where's Johnny Football. The only time I see Johnny Football nowadays is in that Snickers commercial. Okay, and if Brian Hoyer continues winning, he might have to stick to some. What kind of training was it? Was Zumba classes? I don't know if that was Zumba or something, but he was doing some cardio workouts and all that. So he'd do some Zumba. You better start learning that, Johnny, if Brian Hoyer keeps winning. But now Brian Hoyer deserves a lot of credit, man. What was the stat line today? 24 out of 40, 204 yards, 1 touchdown. Nothing spectacular. But remember this guy, I was talking about him in the offseason, Terrence West. Not a great day himself. 19 carries, 68 yards with a touchdown, which was a nice run. This just the grit of the Browns, man. Solid. Gotta like it.
We were talking, I think we broke down the AFC North as one of the 3 divisions we broke down before preseason or during preseason. And I think I said that this division can be won with a 9-7, 10-6 record, somewhere in there. And I think all 4 teams, out of all the divisions in football, these are the 4 teams that any one of them can win the division, including the Cleveland Browns. And we're seeing it right now with Brian Hoyer. Now, I know I said earlier today, or earlier in the Red Zone Blitz, that it's way too early to be talking about playoffs and all that stuff when we were talking about the Bills going 2-0. I understand that. But if you connect the dots from last season to this season, before Brian Hoyer was injured last year, and putting the statistic that you just put together, he's 4-2 as a starter right now for the Cleveland Browns, including last year's games before he was hurt. The Browns might have found a quarterback who can produce for them. And here's the thing, and here's the reason why that's so crucial and why that's so important. The Cleveland Browns for the last 15 years haven't found that guy who has been at least slightly above average, who can manage games, who can be an Alex Smith type of guy, who doesn't have to be an Aaron Rodgers, who can get you 250 yards in the air and have your defense play, solid for you to help you win games. Now we saw, I think, what's his name? Something Gibson, safety. Gosh, I have to get his name. Tashawn Gibson picks Drew Brees off, pick 6. Your defense is contributing. You see Carlos Dansby all over the field today. I think he had 12 tackles, a sack, 2 tackles for loss. Some of these guys stepping up defensively, helping your offense out. The Cleveland Browns, I think, I'm gonna still stand by this, are included in the conversation to win the division this year in the AFC North with the Bengals, with the Ravens, with the Steelers, and don't be surprised if they start surprising more teams, including upsetting teams like they did today with the Saints. It happened today. It could happen in the future. I'm saying right now, watch out for the Cleveland Browns. They might have also found a running back in Terrence West.
I'm not going to go that far. Like I said, they have a chance with you to win the division, but I'm not going to go there just yet. But I think we need to talk about the Saints. They're 0-2 now. Should New Orleans fans be scared? Huh, David? Oh, New Orleans fans. Well, David's a little busy right now. The Saints, 0-2. Drew Brees just hasn't been. This offense just hasn't been clicking just yet, and it's not like you expected the defense to be the strength for this team. And if you're a New Orleans fan, the only thing that will bother me is I heard today that Rob Ryan and Sean Payton were arguing on the sideline. I don't see that too often with a head coach and a coordinator argue about what's going on. I don't know what the argument was about. If you guys can shed some light on it in the comment box, I'll read it and let everybody know. But it's not looking good right now. But it's only 2 games into the year. The Falcons, they have a very talented team over there. The Browns, like I said, so far have shown some grit. So they shouldn't be down too much. But next week, you really want to see how they bounce back, the Saints. You want to see how this offense plays out, if it's really going to be clicking. If it's not clicking next week into its regular, what you're used to, Saints offense, I think you should have concerns. But right now, I think, you take it for what it is. You lost to a talented Falcons team and a team that's trying to change its culture, showing a lot of fight, and with a new coach and new energy with the Cleveland Browns. But you want to see that consistency next week. You really do. And the good thing is, Jimmy Graham had a big day today. He had 2 touchdowns of 10 catches, so that was good. But Colson being shut out, Cook's not having that much of an impact. Drew Brees loves spreading the ball around and all that. Maybe this offensive line needs to make some adjustments, but starts next week. Then I'll start getting worried if anything happens.
They've lost both games by a combination of 5 points. If I was a Saints fan, I wouldn't be worried quite yet. It's only 2 games into the season. You have 14 more. You have an elite quarterback. You have some defensive players who are veterans, who are studs. You have the best tight end in the league. You have a pretty solid receiving core. And Mark Ingram the last 2 weeks has produced more than he's probably ever produced in the NFL. If you're a Saints fan, I wouldn't be concerned. But with that being said, that division is just, you just never know, man. That's the one division I can never get right. Last year, I thought the Panthers were going to finish last. They finished first. I always have the Buccaneers kind of finishing somewhere up there just because they look good on paper, and they never do. The Falcons and the Saints, I think those are the two teams to watch out for in that division, but we just got done talking about how good the Panthers are. You don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. If I knew, I'd be sitting with, Chris Berman on Sunday mornings. But here's the thing. Saints fans, don't be concerned. You have 14 more games. I think the Saints still have a shot at winning the division, regardless of them starting 0-2. Simple as that. Simple as that.
You want to talk about the Cowboys bouncing back? I actually had them losing this game.
I had them winning this game.
I think most people had them winning the game. I'm just saying I was in a minority there. But aren't you a little surprised about the defense? Maybe a little bit. How the Cowboys play? They only give up 10 points, 314 yards to the Titans. Or do you want to contribute that to more? The Titans' offense is just due to it. Jake Locker had a bad day.
I didn't catch any of this game. I didn't catch any highlights. I can't really comment on it. I didn't see the defense play. I didn't see anything. Let me look at some stats here. Turnovers. Here's the thing, Ezra. This is the first thing that stands out to me when you're looking at these stats.
DeMarco Murray?
No. Time of possession. Time of possession, Ezra. Listen to this. The Dallas Cowboys had the ball, and they only scored 26 points. The Dallas Cowboys had the ball for 41 minutes and 11 seconds. The Titans had the ball for 18 minutes and 49 seconds. That's how you win a football game.
DeMarco Murray with 167 yards. I think he had over 100 yards before the first half, and just shows the Titans must have had a lot of 3-and-outs. All right. They had a total. The Cowboys had a total of 23 first downs. The Titans with 13.
Yep.
So, but the time of possession, you're not lying. But that's running the ball. I see it right here. I already gave you Murray's stats. Dunbar, he had 11 carries for 27 yards. So they were just running the ball all day today. They didn't rely on Tony Romo as usual. That's such a great stat line. 19 out of 29, 176 yards, 1 touchdown. At least there was no turnovers.
Yeah, he had 29 pass attempts, and the team had a total of 43 rushing attempts. So they ran the ball, 14 more times than they did pass the ball. And that contributes to the clock continuing to run. That contributes to them continuing to get first downs. Titans went 2 for 10 on third down conversions, which means, like you said earlier, that's gotta contribute to them going, 3 and out a lot of the time. So they outrushed them. The Titans actually outpassed the Cowboys, but when you're down, probably you're gonna pass more than you're gonna run. Like I said, I didn't catch any of this game. I didn't really see any highlights or anything, but this is just purely going off of statistics. DeMarco Murray was probably the MVP of this game, hands down. I mean, you want to look defensively? Let me take a look here. You got this is puzzling to me.
I tell you one thing: the Cowboys' strongest suit is their offensive line. Their offensive line is
hands down, hands down. Yeah, they might have one of the best offensive lines in the league, top 5 for sure. Now, this is puzzling to me because the guy who led the Dallas Cowboys in tackles today is someone who, has had one of the most confusing, weird, just bizarre last couple of seasons in the NFL. Rolando McClain, who was drafted by the Raiders in 2010, top 10 pick. This guy retires, unretires. He was with the Ravens for a little bit. I think they traded him to the Dallas Cowboys. I think it's just a matter of time before he gets arrested again, just because he's a nutcase. But he led the team in tackles today.
And he had a sack, pass deflection. So the first week they say he played really well. I don't remember seeing him, doing much versus the 49ers, but that's what I read. This week he had a big impact, and he's got big talent. So hopefully he stays with it, and the Cowboys got themselves a steal.
I don't know if you want to move on to the Vikings and Patriots real quick, but if we do, we have a question about Adrian Peterson here. I don't know if we want to go off on a tangent. But Bird Gang asks, should Adrian Peterson be suspended by the NFL and released by the Vikings? Do we want to talk about Adrian Peterson?
Hey, it's a story. We got to talk about it. And what are your,
I haven't, looked into it like maybe everyone else has. Completely. I don't know all of the details. I just know that he whipped his child with a tree branch or whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it. I forget what they call it. But 14, 15 times, and the kid started bleeding, or he had a laceration on his leg, whatever. Here's my belief. I don't completely disagree with Adrian Peterson on the fact that he was trying to discipline his child. So disciplining your child is fine. But to the extent in which he did it, I think went too far. I think there has to be a limit. I mean, obviously, there's a limit where you can't harm the kid. You have to teach him a lesson, but you can't harm him. Here's another belief I have. I think the society that we live in today is starting to get too soft. I think if you poke somebody, they're going to call the cops. If you do whatever, you're going to call the cops. Listen, sometimes people need to discipline their child. But Adrian Peterson, if the kid starts bleeding, if you're leaving like scars and marks the way he did, that's too far. That's too far. You can't do that. But I don't know if the NFL is going to suspend him over this. I think if anything happens, I think the Vikings end up making a transaction with somebody. But I don't think the NFL will suspend him. Speaking of the NFL, they've had a rough 1 week here with the Ray Rice and Adrian Peterson thing. But what do you think about that, Ezra? What do you think about Adrian Peterson?
What I think about it, plain and simple, he went too far. And as a man that used to get his butt whipped when he did something wrong, I don't find, on that aspect, I'm cool with, getting disciplined in that way. Because I was disciplined plenty of times in that way. Plenty of times.
Oh, I bet.
Okay. With, same thing. Tree branch and this and that, but it was never to that extent that I went home or I was, because I got hit in the street too if I act up. Oh, there you go. There you go. You want to open your mouth some more? It didn't work because I still opened my mouth. But I caught it a few times. But I've never went home, bleeding, marks. There's a line that you don't cross. Maybe Adrian Peterson doesn't know his own strength, okay? I didn't get hit by an NFL beast of Adrian Peterson, okay? My mom was like 5'2", a little chubby, okay? But he went too far. And the law's going to... I've always said, I've never liked that Roger Goodell wants to suspend people and do all this stuff, and I'm happy he's getting criticized. I don't think he needs to lose his commissioner job, okay, over this Ray Rice thing, but I'm happy he's getting a lot of flack, and people are saying in these groups are standing up against Roger Goodell. Because you want it to be Judge Dredd, you want it to be the jury, you want to be the executioner, the judge, all that stuff. This is what you get. This is the responsibility you have taken, and now something happens is going to be overblown, and now they want to see what you're gonna do. That's what you asked for, and that's what you got, Roger Goodell. Adrian Peterson, was deactivated, maybe suspended for 1 game, and I think he deserves to continue and not to be released, unless the Vikings believe, he's not worth quote unquote this trouble and everything. Or maybe I feel more strongly about the punishment depending on the details of how bad these injuries were to his child. Okay, I would like to see the details about it. So I'm just speculating on my own personal experience, I guess, on getting my butt whipped. So I would say 1 game in addition to his deactivation. So that'll be 2 games as of right now. But if there's more detail, if there's a little more gruesome that I'm aware of, maybe a little longer. But the NFL, you deserve this rough week, and I'm tired of this Ray Rice thing. And you know what? I'm starting to feel bad a little bit for Ray Rice, and especially his wife. I'm getting sick of this. They have to relive this moment more and more again because the NFL, the media, everyone wants to have this damn reaction to this stuff. Let them go on with their life. It's sad that, you know, his wife also has to face punishment when Ray Rice's career is now in jeopardy. Just saying, she's suffering too here because of this and all that. But like I always say, if something bad always has to happen and change to happen. So if this thing leads to, you know, less domestic violence and awareness and all that stuff, and it leads to something much better and more good, I guess I'm all for it. But in the end, this is a little ridiculous.
In regards to my society comment, Tomahawk says, I think parents should get a lot of leeway when disciplining their children. It's a slippery slope when courts start interfering with parental decisions. Willify says, I agree, society is too soft. Jesus says, thank you, Dave. It's a soft society. Leroy Boss says, it's not great parenting, but I don't believe there should be legal charges. Many parents don't discipline their children enough.
And speaking about society, during the Jets and Packers game, you know, the Mo Wilkerson quote-unquote fight where he's throwing punches and this and that, and I'm looking at people's Twitter reaction, and he got thrown out the game. I was like, have we turned into this much of a punk? Huh? I remember in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, people would throw down on the basketball court, the football field, no matter, baseball brawls. Nobody was thrown out. He threw punches? If Mo Wilkerson, if that's his punch, there's a big problem about Jets, man. Okay, he threw a little smack because there was a little scuffle in the end zone. Do you believe that was warrant to get kicked out the game?
He was swinging,
he's a wimp. He's a complete wimp. If that's him swinging, if that's a punch he threw, he is a wimp. That's it. I don't care what anybody says. I'll tell Mo, that's your punch, you're a wimp. I'll fight you 1D right now. Let's put it up.
The ref saw what they saw.
Of course, the ref. I'm not blaming the ref. I feel like it's society. Like if they would have let them keep up, said, "Oh man, how you gonna let that scumbag stay in the game?" Oh, he's violent. He was throwing punches. Come on, man, get out of my face. I'm missing some fights.
Yeah, I don't know. I think things are getting more dumbed down, and things are just getting too soft, and things just I don't know. We can't control these things.
Roger Goodell. Hey, really? Oh, I didn't see the video before Monday. Liar. Damn liar. You don't like that. You were talking about management. Everything's supposed to be held to a higher standard, and we're protect the shield. This is what you get. If you want to protect the shield so much, you might lose your job over it. I don't think you deserve to lose your job, Roger. But if you do, guess who you can blame? Yourself. Look in the mirror, buddy. Look in the mirror. That's all I want to say.
Should Jordy Nelson get a suspension for that whipping he put on the Jets?
Disgusted. The way he was beating down on Dean Milliner in the secondary. Should suspend him. His route running was harder than Mo's punches. Okay, plain and simple. Maybe Jordan Nelson was the one that caused RG3's ankle injury. Maybe he saw it on the jumbotron. He was like, "Oh, even my ankles got snapped." He snapped a couple of ankles out there on the field. That's for sure.
I accidentally closed out of my NFL tab. Oh my goodness. Um, we were gonna hit on the Vikings and the Patriots since we're talking about Adrian Peterson. I saw a little bit of this game, not a whole lot, but there's some people who actually picked the Vikings for this game for whatever reason. You can't go against the Patriots starting 0-2 ever, as long as they have Tom Brady. And the Patriots really turned it up today. 30-7 was the final score. Matt Castle threw 4 interceptions. It's funny because where I live, there's a decent amount of Vikings fans every here and there, and I don't understand why they praise Matt Castle. I don't understand why they have this hope that he's gonna help them go to the playoffs or do whatever, or reach a Super Bowl. I don't see it. He's average at best, and they still put all their faith in him. So I don't know.
There's one thing I found strange. I heard this is Matt Castle's first time facing the Patriots.
Really?
His former team, yeah. And he showed up all right. Yeah, I guess he still loves him because he threw 4 interceptions. So, and I'm pissed off. Stephen Ridley, over 100 yards, a touchdown. You couldn't do this last week when I started you in fantasy? Man. Bill Belichick, always doing this to me. Who had these interceptions? I'm trying to see who this. I can't see. It doesn't tell me who had these interceptions. They had 6 sacks. The Patriots defense. Oh, they came alive today.
Then their defense is underrated. And Tom Brady isn't throwing up the stats he used to throw up. I mean, 149 yards and a touchdown today. 15 for 22, 149 yards and a touchdown. He's not the Tom Brady we all know him to be. He's declining. He's getting older.
I don't know about that. The Vikings have a very good defense, and it's not like the Patriots are full of playmakers left and right.
Yeah, well, I can't disagree with you there, but at the same time, I think Gronk got a couple of looks today. Julian Edelman got some looks. Stephen Ridley had a big game. They don't have that receiving core that everyone looks at and says, wow. Aaron Dobson. Amendola didn't do anything today. So, yeah, I mean, I just feel like Tom Brady doesn't have much time left. Tom Brady's clock is running out more than Peyton Manning's. I think Tom Brady's slightly younger. I might be wrong. Oh my goodness, they just showed RG3's ankle snap in half. Sorry. So yeah, the Patriots though, 30-7 against the Vikings. I want to say the Vikings scored first. I think it was 7-0 Vikings, and then the rest of the game was all Patriots. So, any other games we want to hit on, Ezra, before we head out tonight?
Let me see. Oh, we should talk about the defending champs losing tonight, man. Should we get into that? The Chargers. Phillip Rivers, 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns for Antonio Gates. And people are asking who are our MVPs for this week. Last week, mine was Matt Ryan. And a couple people, I think we have a couple candidates, don't we? We have Antonio Gates, 3 touchdowns. I guess you could put Phillip Rivers in there.
Jordy Nelson?
Jordy Nelson, yes. Brandon Marshall with 3 touchdowns. What about Jay Cutler? I think he deserves. We didn't talk about the Bears and 49ers game. Jay Cutler deserves. He gets a lot of flack himself. Remember I talking about choke artists earlier on the show. Jay Cutler gets a lot of flack. And tonight, man, threw 4 touchdowns, I believe. Was it 4 touchdowns? 3 or 4 touchdowns? I think it was 4 touchdowns. Jay Cutler. He willed his team back. I think he was more of an MVP than Brandon Marshall, in my opinion. But Brandon Marshall, did you see that sick one-handed touchdown? And speaking about, I don't want to go away from the thing again. Everybody talks about this Ray Rice stuff and blah, blah, blah. This outrage. Brandon Marshall got arrested about 3-4 times for domestic violence. he signed a big extension about a week or two ago. Where was the outrage a week or two ago? Where's his suspension? Where's everything? I'm just saying. It's not the first time domestic violence happened, but us humans are being stupid. We saw a little video showing us what domestic violence is. It's an uproar. Where was this years ago?
What do you mean? What is domestic violence? It's the thing that bothers me about this whole Ray Rice thing. And I don't want to go off on a tangent again, but we didn't really talk about this because it happened Monday. We did the Red Zone Blitz on last Sunday, so it happened the day after we did the last Red Zone Blitz. We never got a chance to talk about this. The thing that bugs me about this, the absolute most, is this. Okay, Ray Rice gets suspended for 2 games for this incident, regardless of what the NFL knew, didn't know, what they saw, and what they didn't see. They suspended him. Okay. Now everybody knows what happened. Ray Rice hit his fiancée at the time, now his wife. He hit her. We all know. He drags her out unconscious, and that's the video that we saw. We saw him dragging her out of the elevator. Now, as soon as this video comes out of him actually hitting her, which we knew is what he did, okay? Now, again, I'm not condoning this, but we knew that this is what happened. All of a sudden, everybody, it's an uproar. As if, like, Ray Rice went into the elevator to play hopscotch with his wife, or to play jump rope, or to have a campfire in the elevator. What do you think happened? He hit her. We all know that. But as soon as everybody sees it, it's a completely different story. I don't get why all of a sudden everybody changed. The Ravens cut him. The NFL suspends him. I've never hit a woman, and I never will hit a woman. And I'm not defending what Ray Rice did. But all I'm saying is, what do you honestly think happened in that elevator?
Maybe they thought she had him in a figure 4, okay? He was tapping out. She didn't want to give up, and he had to defend himself. I don't know what people... Domestic violence is what you saw on that tape. And this has been happening years, and not only in the NFL or basketball, any sport, it's been happening throughout life.
It happens
no matter
every
what
day.
industry, financial, healthcare, whatever industry you want to bring in, this happens way too often. It is disgusting. Okay? But let's not act like Ray Rice is the first person to do this disgusting act. And you know what? These people can change. Because throughout all the reports and all that, like I said, Brandon Marshall has been arrested 3 times for this. And he signed his extension 2 weeks ago. No one gives a flying doo-doo. No one cares. Because there's no tape. Ray Rice is not the first guy. And hopefully, it's probably happening right now as we talk about it. That's how disgusting and how often it happens. But, I pray Ray Rice is the last guy to do it. But it's not. It's not going to happen. So, just because you didn't see a video, this crap happens. And let's stop acting like he's the only guy to do something like this. So if it happens again, where's the outrage? I want to see the outrage. Be consistent with this crap. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, so now Ray Rice is done. I think he'll be back next season. I think he's going to get a 1-year suspension, but...
Well, I was talking to some people. They said he better go on Dr. Phil. He better have one of those...
No, look...
He's got to repair his image.
And here's the other thing. No, but here's the other thing.
He has to have... these Dr. Phil interviews. He's got to go on Dr. Drew. He's got to go on a bunch of million charities and do speeches and anti-domestic violence, which, I agree with there. Maybe he should go there and hopefully prevent future stuff like this to happen. But he's got to show a public image so the people could be like, you know what, I think he's changed. I think he's ready to come back and resume his career.
I don't know, man. I just think this got blown up way out of proportion. They should have suspended him for longer than 2 games to begin with. The NFL shouldn't have let it escalate to this point. Now that they have, it makes them look bad. Now that the tapes have been released, it makes Ray Rice even look worse, even though we all knew it originally happened, but now we actually see it. Technically, it should still be a 2-game suspension, and because the new ruling was after the Ray Rice incident, you have a domestic violence incident, you get suspended for 6 games, then you're done for life. You can't play in the NFL. And this happened after Ray Rice got suspended for 2 games. So technically, it should still be 2 games. But now when the tape comes out, then NFL kicks him out, and the Ravens release him, and everyone hates Ray Rice, and I don't know. Again, I'm not defending what he did. I just think that this thing got way just blown up completely, you know. But I don't know.
Hey, I lost my point. I was thinking about something, and then you kept talking, and I completely lost it. So I guess we can move on with this. And we have some. We'll go to the FanDuel comment box before me and David get into our, MVPs of the NFL, and in a few minutes we'll get into our FanDuel comment box MVPs. But here we go. We got some comments right here. Oh, F. The postman F. Ray Rice. Cool. Willify. Is there a video of domestic violence, Ezra? Do you need one of other domestic violence? I'm not into that. I don't have videos of domestic violence. If you want, go to World Star. A lot of hypocrites that are screaming for Ray Rice go to World Star and watch fights all the time, or domestic violence, whatever the hell is going on. Leroy Boss. Marshall has donated millions of dollars raising awareness for mental health. Back when he struggled with domestic violence, he was depressed and suicidal. He has fixed himself up since then. There we go. Let's see what else. Bird Gang wants. I guess this is the defense of Ray Rice. He said, Bird Gang writes, she could have fainted. That was. Ray Rice admitted. As soon as the security came, they asked if she was drunk. He said no. And when the cops came, he told them the truth. He was upfront about it with the cops and the authorities from the jump with this whole thing happened. And it just, what was I going to say? I keep forgetting what I was going to say now. Oh, the video that supposedly just came out on Monday. My personal friend of mine said, dude, I saw that video earlier this year on my Facebook. And if you watch, David and I are cool with Glass from Get With His Sports. I saw a recent video they just did. He was talking to his partner, Brandon. Brandon, the second person I heard this week say, I saw this video in March. I saw this video inside the elevator in March. I know the NFL and Roger Goodell saw this video because I already had access. That's 2 people that said they seen this video months ago before Monday. What does that tell you?
I don't know. That's kind of hard just because I feel as if that would have gone viral within a day. If I feel like that would have gone viral though, don't you think?
It sounds like it would have gone viral, but I don't know. They said they've seen these videos. They're not. I think I saw it. They're very adamant and very confident. They said they saw this video months ago. And let's be serious. Don't you think this video, you tell them this casino, just letting you guys know, this casino's in Atlantic City, which is 3 hours from me. This casino closed down last week. The casino where this incident closed down last week. So it's not like they came out with the video after the place closed down. This video was burned a long time ago. Someone got paid off a long time ago for this video. I just think TMZ said, you know what, this is when I'll release it. And the only time stuff goes viral is when a major media, outlet starts it out first, really. So maybe if a couple people among people on Facebook, it didn't really translate like that because it wasn't a big media, shared video, because I guess TMZ had access to it, and that's why it didn't blow up. But I don't know. But I'm just saying, 2 people already said they saw the video months ago. Maybe I'll have them. Maybe I'll have my boy see if he could pull it up, and I'll get the date for you guys, and I'll make a screenshot. I'll have him take a screenshot with the date of it to kind of prove it.
It's getting late. I'm starting to get tired. So I think we're gonna start wrapping it up here. We got a few minutes left, and we're gonna pick our MVPs.
We got to pick our players first. Player MVPs. Who do you have? And I did see some good suggestions, man. They're talking about the Bears. Kyle Fuller, the rookie, had 2 interceptions tonight. Deserves a lot of consideration for it. Step up big. He deserves some love. We didn't give him no love a few minutes ago. He deserves that. This Ray Rice thing, taking up all this stuff.
My problem with picking an MVP is I need to look over things before I pick a guy. Numbers, stats, video, things like that. I wouldn't even know where to start. I just know some of the guys who had big games today. Brandon Marshall, Jordy Nelson. But I don't know if I can pick an MVP. They're all MVPs. There you go.
Oh man, you're such a punk. I'm going with Jordy Nelson, man. Maybe because one, I'm biased because I saw it happening. But even in the first half, while my Jets were rolling, you could see Jordy Nelson was a handful for them. I tweeted that. So this guy, he's killing us right now. And this is why we had the huge lead. And he was their consistent factor. And he actually carried 9 receptions, 209 yards, 1 touchdown. Come from behind victory, and he was the most consistent guy even from the beginning. I think Jordy Nelson he's my MVP. Yeah, I don't think he is my MVP for this week. He may lead it. Is he going to be leading the league in reception yards after this week? Possibly, right? Did he have a big week last week?
I can't remember. I think he led the team in receiving against the Seahawks. He might be. He might be. Do we want to do the MVPs for the fans here?
Yes, this FanDuel Common Box. Man, this is going to be... this is going to be tough, man.
Willify is all over the place. Bird Gang is all over the place.
Cubone and Tomahawk.
I like to spread the wealth around a little bit, but I'm seeing a lot of... You got Leroy Boss. Oh, man. This is going to be hard again. It's usually always the same guys. My God.
I think 18 Lockhart was busy tonight, He wasn't very active tonight. You busy? You got a lady over? Huh? There you go. That's 18 Lockhart right now coming over on a motorcycle. I think 18 Lockhart, he had the ladies over at the crib tonight. He's taking it easy.
You know what? Even if he is first place in the power rankings, even if he is first place in the power rankings, it's been 2 weeks and I haven't given Tomahawk an MVP. Let me give Tomahawk an MVP award tonight. Even though there's a couple of guys like Willify and Leroy Boss and Bird Gang, Cubone, some of those guys, I'm going to give it to Tomahawk tonight. Showing up again. 3 weeks in a row. Consistency. That's what you want. That's what you're looking for.
Man. He had a good joke too, Tomahawk, about the suspension about my Jets. I'm gonna go with Bird Gang.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Bird Gang.
Newcomer.
That's what I'm gonna go with. Man, this is tough, man, because Willify right now, it sucks. It sucks. But someone's got to be picked, right? Even in the NFL, it's funny. It's easier to pick an NFL MVP for the season than FanDuel Common Box. And I'm not just saying that because you guys are awesome. It's because it's the truth. Yeah, because at the end of the year we'll have arguments about who is our MVP for the year. FanDuel Common Box right here on the spot, and you see all these quality comments and information, and these guys answer your questions. It's really cool. I love it. So I'm going to go with Bird Gang, 55-9 tonight.
I'm going to have to keep track of that for the power rankings. So, Bird Gang, let me put that in before I forget. Bird Gang and Tomahawk got our MVPs tonight. Where is this document?
I just want to give a, Will of Five someone. Did we talk about Cincinnati, crushing Atlanta Falcons? We should have talked about that big game, very nice matchup. And the Bengals just showing they're the cream of the crop of that division the first 2 games of the year. They took care of business last week, and this week they crushed the Falcons. They keep them to 10 points in that high-powered offense. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Roddy White. Yeah, Cincinnati. And Gio, he had a big game, man. What was he? He had 90 yards rushing. He had 80. He had 79 yards reception yards. He was huge today, and he had a touchdown.
This was the game I was looking forward to the most going into this week, besides the Packers and Jets game. This game I thought was going to be exciting, and the Bengals still won with A.J. Green even going out very early in the game with a toe injury, and he was out for the rest of the game. But yeah, they still won. Gio carried the team. Andy Dalton had a pretty solid performance. Mohamed Sanu had a 50-yard pass under his belt. So, yeah, and they played at home. And I picked the Bengals to win this one, and they did.
I'm looking at the stats. Am I going crazy? Terrence Newman, former Cowboy, 10 tackles, 3 pass deflections. That means they were attacking him all day, wasn't they? But he had a big game. He came up through, and Matt Ryan threw 3 interceptions. Who was my Week 1 MVP? I think that puts him down in the overall MVP ranking for me, big time. But yeah, if Matt Ryan doesn't go, definitely this offense doesn't go.
Nope.
But the Bengals deserve. Man, they ran the ball, 170 yards total, 2 touchdowns.
I think that's a wrap on the Red Zone Blitz tonight. The thing that stinks about having these shows so late is you get tired. You had a long day. I played football earlier. I had a really good performance out this morning. Except I pulled.
What was your stats? If you was playing on, what did you do out there?
We played 3 games, and I played quarterback, played receiver, played defense. I had 2 picks today, 2 interceptions. I had a really nice quarterback run for almost the entire field. Now it's not tackle. I play with 29, 30-year-old guys. They don't want to play tackle because they're getting old. They don't want to get hurt. We throw flags on. Now you might think flag football it stinks.
Let's not get on the 29, 30-year-old someone not playing. I play tackle when I'm 30 years old.
Listen, this is what they want to do. The group of guys. It's all right. But we play O-line, we play D-line, we play everything. It's just flag football. Still really fun. Now,
you may cut me. You may cut me in an open field, but man, I will crush you, David.
Listen.
I will crush you.
You can't. You have to be really shifty. See, with flag football, it's so easy to get taken down because you got to pull a flag. So you need to utilize those spins, right? I spun
about 20 times. Like you look like a ballerina out there.
I was quarterbacking. I think it was 3rd down. And I scrambled out to the right, and I knew it was beautiful, man. I'm telling you, it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. You know what? You got to get the guys some highlight tapes, man. Next time you play, you have someone on the sideline with a camera. We want to see some highlights of David on the football field. We don't want to hear you talk about it. We want to see it happen.
I had a lineman coming from my left. I had a cornerback coming right in front of me, so I was sandwiched. I spun around both of them. And there was another guy in the secondary coming up to me, spun around him, and went down the sideline for a touchdown. So it was pretty cool. I had a really nice deep pass as well today. I did it all, man. I had picks, I had touchdowns, I had runs, I had everything.
Well, 18 Lockhart just submitted in the FanDuel comment box. He's into short, chubby, older women. Matter of fact, not chubby. My mom is fat. Okay, short, fat women. He said yes. Having your mother over was quite nice, Ezra. Dude, you have terrible taste. Man, my mom? Whew. It's cool. They need love too. Thank you, 18 Lockhart. I should change my MVP to 18 Lockhart. I don't have to. No wonder she didn't call me today. Good. Anyway, guys, let's wrap it up. Hopefully, just like 18 Lockhart. And see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week. Dave runs a 4.840, by the way, if you guys wanted to know how fast I am. That's all right. That's okay. It's 4.8.
I would be like a 6'2".
Yeah, I run a 4.8.
I am super slow.
Hey, there's some NFL receivers who still get drafted who run like 4.76.
I am so slow. I
Yeah,
have no acceleration, nothing. But if we was doing Madden stats, my awareness would be off the hook. But I'll be like a speed 72 or 68, whatever super slow NFL player you could think of.
All right, fellas. Tomahawk gets our MVP tonight. Bird Gang gets our MVP tonight. Shout out to Leroy Boss, 18 Lockhart, Will Fi, Cubone Football. Hey, Zeus. Anyone who I didn't say who's still watching, we appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate you guys showing all your time. The power rankings should be updated next week. And I'm Dave from Wake Up It's Football. Catch me on Twitter and Facebook. Links are right in here somewhere. And then you can also catch Ezra on Twitter and Facebook as well. Ezra, same time next week?
Same time next week, and look out. Look out. The Bears better look out. Somebody was talking about, I think it was Leroy Boss, talking about his Bears face me on Monday Night Football. Come on. That's a loss.
Uh-oh.
All
All right, we'll catch you guys later.
Let's go.